In this video, we're going to learn how to calibrate the Slab A and B photo sensors on a ProSlab machine.
The tools you need for this job are a piece of cardboard no larger than 3 inches by 8 inches. You also need a 3mm Allen wrench or a drive 3mm socket with a ratcheting wrench, a 7mm wrench, and a small flathead screwdriver, preferred a electrical size number 2.
Okay, so the first step when trying to adjust the Slab A and B sensors is we need to find where the sensors are reading in relation to the conveyor belts, the upper and the pickup conveyor belts, and we need to make sure that they're reading between the shaft on the pickup conveyor and the mat on the conveyor here, or if it's a broken conveyor, again, just the edge of the conveyor. So right in the center. And as far as side to side goes, we need to make sure that it's reading between pulley 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 if it's a 6-gang pulley. First of all, we need to find the center of where the sensors are reading. You can just use your hand as a reference. You'll see the lights turn on the sensor. First of all, we're going to find the center of the sensor forward and back and make sure that you set it in between the pulley, in between the shafts and the top conveyor belt. So to do so, you need to loosen up the bolts with a 13mm wrench up on the top, 13mm wrench in the socket. Just loosen that up a little bit, and that'll give you movement on that bracket forward and back. To find the center, use your hand or use a small piece of cardboard. You'll see the light turn on. Once you can see the light turn on, you can adjust the distance as far as how far down the sensor is reading using the flathead screwdriver. Turn the screwdriver out to be able to get it to read further down. And again, you just want to be right in between the pulleys, and so just high enough to where you're clearing the top of the shaft on the pickup conveyor. And so an orange light means that the sensor's on. Once you put your hand under it, there's a light that will turn on that's green. That means that it's reading something. And when that green light turns red, that means that's the furthest distance that the sensor is going to read at. You want to do that to both sensors. So once you've got the one on the outside reading, this should be the Slab A is on the outside, the Slab B is on the inside. So once you get the Slab A to be reading properly, as far as the distance down, then you can do the same thing with the inside. Once you get the one on the inside reading the same distance, now you can adjust it forward and back. Again, you're trying to find the center. So to find the center, you use a small piece of cardboard and you bring it in from the back and now from the front. Once you find the center, go ahead and tighten the 13mm bolts. And now we're going to adjust the side to side. In older machines, you will need a 7mm wrench, a 3mm Allen wrench. So you take the 3mm Allen wrench and put it on the head of the bolt. Take the 7mm wrench on the back of the nut. All you want to do is loosen it up enough to where you can have play side to side on the sensor. Once you can adjust the sensor side to side, you're going to center it to the corresponding pulleys. The Slab A, which is the one on the outside, will be between pulley 2 and 3. You want to take your piece of cardboard, come in from the inside, get it to read properly. You'll see the light change. Come in from the outside, get it to read kind of in the center there. Newer machines will have the wing nuts. Once you find the center, go ahead and tighten that up. Older machines, if they have the 7mm nuts, don't want to go too tight. As soon as you can get it to snug a little bit, you can go ahead and let that go. Again, if you go too tight, you can damage the sensor. Newer machines do have the wing nuts. As soon as you can feel some friction, you can go ahead and let go. That should be tight enough to hold that in position. You want to repeat the same step with the sensor on the inside. And this main mount is flexible enough to where you can actually bend it if the sensors are actually not in line with the conveyor. Once you have found the center and center it to each one of the corresponding pulleys and center it between the shafts and the conveyor, you are all done.
This is how you can verify in the cab if the sensors are working correctly. I'm going to go ahead and set the piece of cardboard under the outside slab sensor, making sure it's triggering. And I'm gonna go into the pickup page. Now that I'm in the pickup page, under pickup sensors on the right side of the screen, you can see slab A staying turned on. Now I'm gonna go out and bring that piece of cardboard over to the other side and trigger the slab B sensor, and come back in the cab and make sure that it's working and it's reading properly. Now that I've verified that both of the sensors are reading, I'm gonna go back outside and remove the piece of cardboard and use my hands to put them under both sensors and trigger both sensors. You can also do this by running a piece of grass up the conveyor and make sure that the sensors are turning on at the same time and off at the same time. That's how you can calibrate the Slab A and B photo sensors on a ProSlab machine.